Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is the presentation, How to Win Customers and Influence Word of Mouth, presented by Podium. My name is Samantha, and I'm the Managing Editor of Jewelry Business. This webinar discusses strategies for how to take advantage of word-of-mouth marketing to help grow your jewelry retail business. Our speakers will offer simple steps and key takeaways for how you can provide your customers with a remarkable experience and give them something to talk about with their friends, families, and colleagues. Just as a general note to today's attendees, all of your mics are muted. That said, if you have any questions for our presenters, feel free to post them in the Q&A forum, as we'll be addressing questions at the end of the presentation. If you have any technical questions as we get started, you can use the chat feature to communicate with us, and we'll do our best to help. Today's slide presentation and our speaker's audio is being recorded so we can provide you with the material afterward. On that note, I'd like to introduce our speakers from Podium. Jason Aelona, who is head of the company's retail division and has extensive experience in digital marketing, as well as helping businesses set up customer experience. And Haley Sontag, a demand gen specialist with experience in social media management, market research, product development, public relations, and advertising. But before I hand things over to Jason and Haley, let's kick things off with a little poll to see a little bit more about who's in attendance today. What would you say best describes your company's operations? Independent jewelry and/or watch retailer, chain or mass merchandising jewelry and/or watch retailer, gemologist appraiser, jewelry designers, goldsmiths, or craftsmen, or other? And I'll just give everyone a bit of time to answer. Okay, so it looks like we mostly have independent jewelry and watch retailers with us today, with a few others as well. So maybe you want to mention in the chat what your field is. And on that, Jason and Haley, please take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We are really excited to be here today and talk about word of mouth marketing and how to win more customers. Before we start off, we just have a little agenda here. We're going to talk about obviously how to win customers and influence word of mouth, and we'll start with a little bit of theory and then get down to some techniques, including real-world examples that you can employ in your business today. So to start us off again, we have another poll. We're curious how your jewelry business usually gets new customers. Is that online? Is it people walking in? And this is generally, we know things are a little bit different these days, but in general, how do you usually get new customers? Referrals, other, I'll give you a few minutes to, or a few seconds to answer that. Okay, let's look at the results. Looks like 42% of you said that referrals is how you usually get new customers, and that is true across most industries. Word of mouth is really what drives local business. So obviously that's what we're going to be talking about today. Us as humans, we love to talk about the things we love, whether it's our favorite sports team or the new burger place we can't seem to help ourselves when things delight us. And it's totally natural, almost effortless, and it doesn't really feel like an advertisement to us or to the person that we're sharing it with. It just feels as, we're giving them some advice, or we're just telling them about things that make us happy. It doesn't feel like we're trying to sell them something. And it's one of the ways that we actually build commonality with each other. Anyone with a local business knows instinctively that they live and die by word of mouth. And a recent study found that a staggering 90% of purchases are influenced by word of mouth. And McKinsey has stated that as great as 50% of all purchases are directly caused by word of mouth. 90% are influenced and 50% are directly caused by word of mouth. That just shows you how important word of mouth is to your business. And while we live in a digital age, we can easily start to think about word of mouth in digital terms such as social and reviews, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But the reality is that most of word of mouth is still very much analog. Andy Cernovich, who literally wrote the book on word of mouth marketing called Word of Mouth Marketing, says that still today only 20% of word of mouth is happening online, and the other 80% is still happening offline. So as much time as you spend interacting with others online, it still pales in comparison to our live interactions. Here's some fun math here. The average working adult has 27 conversations per day, lasting about 10 minutes each and compiling 5,000 to 7,000 words. I'm not going to try to do the math right now, but the point is we spend a lot of our time talking. And it's within the thick and thin of these interactions that word of mouth weaves itself almost imperceptibly into the tapestry that shapes the way we engage with the world. In short, word of mouth is how we get customers. And a lot of businesses, we may have a fancy dashboard stating that the source of the referrals X, Y, or Z, but that's really not the source. Those are just the channels that the customer has used to reach out to you. And before that, your potential customer most likely heard about you from someone else. Word of mouth is the source. Somebody talked spontaneously. But how do you get people to talk spontaneously about your business? The answer is actually surprisingly simple, but it's pretty profound, and that's be remarkable.
Absolutely. So thank you, Haley. I mean, in order to be noticed by people, right? In order to get customers into the door, you have to be remarkable. So on your screen right now, you see a gentleman there. He has no hair. He has yellow glasses on. That gentleman, his name is Seth Godin, okay? I don't know if you guys know him, but Seth is known as being the ultimate entrepreneur for today's age. He's an American writer, wrote about 17 books around the aspects of marketing, advertising, and being remarkable. So bottom line, if you want to get people talking about you and your store and your jewelry stores and what you guys are doing there, especially today in the environment that the entire world is in right now, you have to be remarkable. But what does being remarkable really even mean? Okay. Well, this is what it means. Okay. By definition, being remarkable means that what you are doing is worthy of remark. Right? Worth talking about. Okay, so let that sink in. Being remarkable is doing something that's worth talking about. Okay? Seriously, the idea alone can change your business. Okay, and why? Well, it's pretty simple. When you're remarkable, people talk. Right? By definition, when you're remarkable, people talk. We are efficient human beings, right? We don't have time to remark on things that aren't our average or are expected of us. Right? No one ever mentioned, oh man, that sandwich at Subway the other day was remarkable. Let me tell you about it, right? Or no one ever says, oh, that Big Mac I got at McDonald's was absolutely remarkable, right? You get the sandwich, you get the burger, you eat it, you move on with your life. It just doesn't happen unless it is remarkable, right? When it's not remarkable, people don't talk about it. It just doesn't happen, okay? This is a super important quote that I absolutely love by Andy. It says, advertising is the cost of being boring, right? Even if our experience was good or adequate, or, we don't take the time to remark on these sorts of things. We just don't. Life is too short, right? It's only when something does something truly remarkable, like I talked before, people actually take the time to talk. And it seems that once we start talking about something that's remarkable, we can't stop, okay?
And there really are so many ways that your business can be remarkable. It could be the product quality, the design, the speed of delivery, the personality of your employees, their humor, cost, you know, the list goes on and on and on. And because this topic could be so broad, what we're going to do is focus on one of the easiest and quickest things to change that can make the greatest impact on your business, and that's the customer experience.
Hey, Haley, can I just add something real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, sorry. Okay, just wanted to jump in. Like, think about your businesses today, right, and the environment that we're in. You are a remarkable business, right? We all know COVID-19 is going around the entire world. Like right now, are you just a business that's closed, right? Or are you still doing business to affect the people that want to do business with you, okay? So think about that. How are there ways today that you can provide that remarkable customer service? Okay, sorry, Haley, I just wanted to jump in and throw that in there.
No, yeah, thanks for hopping in. Yeah, things are really weird right now with people social distancing, but that doesn't mean that you can't still create a great customer experience for your customers. And when you're thinking about kind of what you can do for your customers, think about your own life. Any remarkable experiences that you've had. It kind of seems like they come out of the blue when we're least expecting them. But think about your last remarkable customer experience. What was the result? Did you tell your friends about it? Did you write a review online? Did you increase your patronage to that business? And how many people do you think that one experience affected? Maybe it's you're calling an e-commerce retailer expecting to get a pre-recorded message, and then somebody actually picks up and asks, how can I help you? And then they did help you. You almost wouldn't know what to say, right? But before we take a deeper look into what remarkable is, it's helpful to know what remarkable isn't. So let's set some boundaries around the topic. Going back to Seth Godin, the guy with no hair and the yellow sunglasses that we mentioned earlier, he wrote a book called Purple Cow, and it's talking about how to be remarkable. And he would tell you that it isn't just being noticed. Wearing a pink cowboy hat will get you noticed, but it won't cause others to remark. And in today's world, there are plenty of odd or strange things designed to catch our eye. And while those things may be successful in getting a small percentage of our attention, they rarely achieve this remarkable status. They rarely are causing people to talk. And being remarkable, it's not just about being different. In some ways, if you think about it, every business is different from its competition. Coke is different than Pepsi. The Toyota Prius is different than the Honda Insight. Being different is just that, it's different. And it doesn't make your business remarkable unless those differences lead to people talking.
Yes, so now be careful because the door swings both ways here, right? It's also worth noting that you don't get to decide what people talk about. We all know that. So if you're remarkable, they will talk. If not, they won't. However, like I said, it swings both ways. And if you're terrible, right, they'll talk more. People are twice as likely to talk about a bad customer experience than a good one. And that's scary, right? Because it puts a lot on you as business owners to make sure that you're doing kind of the right thing at all times, right? Your customer experience can also be remarkably terrible. So make sure you're not doing that. But if you're attending this webinar, I'm sure that's not a problem with your business. So let's just move on from there. Okay. All right. How to increase word of mouth by being remarkable. All right. What would happen to your business if all your customers were full-blown evangelist mode, telling everyone that they came in contact with about your remarkable business, right? What would that do for you guys? It'd be a game changer, right? You probably wouldn't need to advertise as much. You just sit back and watch people come in through that door. Flood into your jewelry store, purchase a bunch of rings, a bunch of different items, and you'd be just living on the high life, right? Right. That's the problem is that's just a dream and it just doesn't happen. Okay, so let's stop talking theory and get into practice. Okay, we're going to review some of the common plays in the Be Remarkable free playbook on our website, along with other ways, to share some stories of business that have done it in the past. Okay. All right. So listen closely here. Number one, you have to listen closely, right? You may already be doing something remarkable. Okay, I want you guys to let that sink in for a little bit. Okay, You have been in business for a long time for a reason. What's making you remarkable? Are you already doing something that is remarkable, but you just don't know about it yet, right? Before you go crazy with brainstorming, meetings, filling spreadsheets of ideas on how to be remarkable, you might want to stop and listen closely to what your customers are already saying about you, okay? If you're already doing something remarkable, chances are your customers are telling you. So how do we know that our customers are telling you? A good way to look through is your reviews, right? Reviews are an obvious place to look. Yes, you have reviews, go read them. They're good for you. Don't just look for the positive ones. This might be a chance to right some wrongs. This is a fruitful exercise, I think, for everyone to take on a regular basis. Oftentimes, I think with businesses, it can be so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, and it becomes hard to spot patterns, right? Customers don't have this problem. Another great place to listen to is your new customers. What are they asking for? What do they expect from you, right? If your business lives on referrals for new customers, this is a necessary place to look, because everyone who walks through that door has been coached already, right? They already have an idea of what makes you remarkable because that another person have told them, right? Your job is to lure that out of them. I know in that, that little feedback we got earlier, majority of you guys have walk-in business for referrals. Talk to them, lure it out of them. Why did you come here? What did they say? Gather feedback, right? Not only from new customers, but repeat customers. You may already be doing something remarkable. So it's important, right, that you guys listen closely and look into it before, like I said, brainstorming and taking so much of your time. 2, look beyond the obvious. What is remarkable about you may not be what you think, right? So what is remarkable about you may or may not have anything to do with your core product or offering. In fact, it's usually easier to make how the product is deliverable remarkable than to make what is actually being delivered remarkable, okay? Let's jump into a quick example here. You guys see this up front. Everybody knows Red Lobster, right? So a recent long-term cook at Red Lobster noticed that every time he told people that he worked at Red Lobster, there was a similar response, almost predictable from everyone, right? You may think maybe they're saying, oh yeah, lobster, or maybe the endless shrimp, right? Or maybe something about seafood, right? That's not what they said, right? Not at all. Anyone who had ever gone to the restaurant, right, always told them, oh, I love those garlic cheese biscuits, right? Those who don't have a seafood lover inside of them might be surprised to hear that those biscuits, they're actually known as Cheddar Bay biscuits, aren't even on the menu. They're free, right? The server brings a basket of them to the table with the salad, and then will often refill the basket once they're gone. Now, the servers are trained to bring one biscuit for each person on the table and one extra, right? The extra biscuit is to spark conversation, to get people talking, right? Remarkable. Get people talking. Does that sound familiar? So the head chefs also created these biscuits. They didn't know that they were creating these biscuits that they would be such a huge hit, right? No, they didn't. But what did they do? They started listening to their customers and figured it out, right? Now, as you look at a Red Lobster billboard, it has nothing to do with seafood. It has their cheddar biscuits on there, right? So it's pretty crazy. Like, this is something that has nothing to do with their business or their product, right? It was cheddar biscuits that had people talking. That was remarkable for them. Find what's remarkable for you.
And that's a good example from the restaurant industry. And as we're going through these examples, you might notice that a lot of them are from a variety of different industries. And we're hoping that what that will do is kind of spark some inspiration and help you think outside the box of what your jewelry business can do to be remarkable. Number 3 here is shatter expectations. It's important to say first that expectations are relative. So a fast food restaurant does not have the same expectations as a Michelin star French restaurant. And because of those expectations that the customers have as they're walking through the door, the French restaurant might have to go as far as to keep track of that customer's last visit so they can pour a glass of wine on the house as they sit down. But at the same time, a Taco Bell might be able to score a slew of 5-star reviews just by teaching their employees to actually look a customer in the eye and say hi in a cheerful voice. Expectations are everything when it comes to the customer experience. If a customer comes into your store and they're expecting to wait, they'll wait without complaining. If they expect an automated phone system, they'll tap their way through it. Most of us as consumers are amazingly adaptable, and we're just looking to get through our busy day with the least hassle possible. You don't want to leave those expectations as is. You want to figure out what those are and then shatter those expectations. So develop a new set of eyes when looking for ways to make your customer experience remarkable, and look really closely at the entire customer experience. Don't look past the mundane or ordinary. Those might be exactly the places to be remarkable. So when you're looking through your customer's journey, look for points of friction or boredom. If a customer is already expecting friction or boredom, they're the perfect target, because it's a lot easier to shatter expectations if they're already pretty low. This last one here is ask new employees what they think. They have the freshest eyes available to you and can tell you where some of these points of friction are in the customer journey. Here's another example we have. Beaver Valley Chevron. Think about it. What could a gas station do to shatter expectations? Upon first sight, this Beaver Valley Chevron off of exit 109 on I-15 in Beaver, Utah, it doesn't look like much. In fact, it looks like your average 20-year-old gas station. But this is the perfect model in shattering expectations, because what they do is so simple, and we're not quite sure why every gas station hasn't figured it out yet. But first, we want you to just think about it. Where do gas stations make most of their profits? If you saw in the store, well, you're right. That's where the high margin items are. So a follow-up question. Why are gas stations letting their customers stand at the pump for several minutes performing a mundane task when they could be in the store instead, where the high margin items are? That's what the good folks at Beaver Valley Chevron wondered, so they decided to turn the clock back to the 1950s and become a full service gas station. So when you drive up to the station, a nice employee with a name tag meets you at your car and says, "I'll pump it for you. How much do you want?" And after you swipe your card, he not only pumps your gas, but also washes your windows as you stroll into the store to find your favorite road trip treat. And outside of this small service, though, Beaver Valley Chevron really is the definition of average, especially when compared to some of the newer mega stop stations with a new facade and big store. But they actually have quite the following amongst travelers through this sparsely populated area. And social media is actually littered with pictures of people taking selfies with the guys at Beaver Valley Chevron being remarkable. And for all of you NFL fans, yes, that is Steve Young taking a picture with the remarkable Beaver Valley Chevron employees.
Awesome. I love that gas station. Sweet. Number 4, defy the laws of speed and time, right? As the old adage goes, time is money. Another way to be remarkable and add more value to your offering is to do things faster than expected, like way faster. For example, in jewelry, right? Let's talk about that for a little bit. Like if you're still doing what you're usually doing, which is someone comes in, you get a repair done, you give them a call a week later, they come and pick it up, right? It's just old. I mean, it works, but at the same time, if you can make that so much faster, people absolutely love it, especially in the world that we live in today. If there's texting you're doing, they have repair pickups, make sure you're doing that. If you have payments, you can just send them a link through a text and make a payment over a text message, right? That would be awesome for them, that they can just pay, come in and just pick up. That's where today, even to what we're witnessing today, you have to find easy, fast ways for your customers to get a hold of you. If they can't get a hold of you through online or through these different methods, you're going to be left behind, right? Time is money. You have to make, customers are super, they're ADD when it comes to what they're searching for. So we have to make sure that they're there where you need to be, right? And you're fast at things, okay? Let's give you an example of the Cleveland Clinic. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Cleveland Clinic. I'm sure a lot of you have. But the Cleveland Clinic is a remarkable healthcare system in Cleveland, Ohio, okay? They have some of the top doctors in the world. They attract patients from all 50 states, 180 countries. The main 165-acre campus is like a city, right, in itself. It has 42 buildings, 52,000 employees. They treat 7 million patients a year. Now, would you believe that these things aren't even the most remarkable thing about the Cleveland Clinic, right? All that great stuff, it's not even that remarkable. Get this. When you call the main number of this massive hospital system, a person answers the phone and says, "Thank you for calling the Cleveland Clinic. Can I set an appointment for you today?" Right? Think of that. Most people don't know what to think. Today, right? Of course, today. If you try to set an appointment for next week, depending on the specialty, they will tell you we're booked out for several months, but they can get you in today, right? As you can imagine, a hospital system like this doesn't need to work hard to find new patients. They could probably rest on their laurels if they wanted to, but they haven't, right? They've optimized every single system, right? They've optimized same-day appointments if you call before noon, right? If you do that, you'll get an appointment that day. If you call later, they'll set it up tomorrow, okay? Once you get in, get ready for something even more remarkable. If you need lab work done, right, those are done the same day. As you sit down with your doctor and go over the results, right, that happens, you guessed it, the same day. And if you need surgery, you guessed it again. It usually happens the same day, right? You don't leave until you have answers, a treatment, and a course of action. And they're optimized to make all of that happen today. Now, how does this compare to your local health system near you, right? That's what makes the Cleveland Clinic remarkable. It's not their massive buildings and their thousands of doctors and employees. It's the fact that they get things done so fast.
Let's move on to step number 5, get out of the showroom. So over the last few years, there's kind of been this shift in the way that we live our lives. Technologies such as smartphone, internet, and apps, they've been around for a long time, but it actually hasn't been until recently that there's been this tipping point in expectations of the consumer. Technology really has enabled us to live our lives, quote, in between. Meaning we can now order something from Amazon in between meetings at work, and we can set up an appointment to have a glass chip in our car repaired in between the meeting and picking up the kids. Every day, more and more, we're able to take care of maybe these smaller pieces of business in between what we're doing in our daily life. And savvy companies, they've recognized this shift. They no longer have realized that consumers, sometimes they don't want to visit the showroom. And this is in general, but this is obviously pretty pertinent right now where consumers don't necessarily want to go into the showroom. They don't want to, they want to practice social distancing, and they want to be able to do things where they are. They want the showroom to come to them. They want to set the terms, and they want to engage when they're ready to engage. The showroom has now moved into the living room, and while the world is still catching up, businesses that adapt have this opportunity to be remarkable. Here's another example that we have here. For most people, think about the last time that you got new tires. It's usually a painful experience. It costs as much as a high-end phone, like an iPhone, but they bring us so much less joy. And in our mind, we imagine this experience of waiting in line, making a decision about things we don't really care to understand, and then waiting in a waiting room, usually full of worn-out chairs. The TV's playing news, and there's a sense of cheap coffee barely breaking through the smell of rubber. And on top of this, we know this exhibition will take a huge chunk of our day. But Jack Williams Tire, they're a 90-year-old tire shop with 36 retail locations in Pennsylvania. And what they've done is they've tried something new. They're trying to bring the showroom to their customers with this remarkable new mobile tire shop. So for a small fee around $10, you can avoid the showroom and get a new tires wherever you are. And it only takes as long as handing your keys to the technician. Anthony is the marketing director over at Jewellery Tire, and he says that not everyone out there loves shelling out money for tires, but it's a necessity in order to stay safe and not have a blowout on the road. And he adds, people are always short on time now, and whether it's the soccer mom and they are juggling kids' schedules or a business professional going to different meetings, we just want to try to make it easier for the customer to get things done that need to be done. The beauty of this innovation is that the remarkability is built in. When you step out of a meeting at work to hand your keys off to the tire shop in the parking lot, every person is going to want to know more. And this has been something that Jewellery Tire has been doing over the past few years, even without people wanting to stay in their homes more. So this is true now, and it's true in general that customers want the convenience of being able to purchase something from a local business wherever they are.
All right. Number 6, make friends out of enemies, right? Current customers are the bedrock of your business. Okay, you got to understand that. Too many businesses take a foolish approach when losing customers, right? They believe, no worries. That's no big deal. There's plenty of fish in the sea, right? But the problem is what they don't understand is, customers talk, right? These businesses are left wondering why people don't come by like they used to. A whopping 91% of unhappy customers won't do business with the company ever again, right, if they've had an unsatisfactory event. And according to the White House Office of Consumer Affairs, those customers will typically tell 9 to 15 people. How would your business fare, right, if these stats were true? If you had one enemy out there, tell 9 to 15 people about this. Most businesses out there cannot afford this type of negative headwind. You just can't, right? I love that we're showing these different industries. Here's another industry that's outside of yours, but I mean, it's good to see kind of the overall picture of how this is affecting not only jewelry, but all of retail, right? This is Tyler, right? He owns, or he's a marketing director of budget heating and cooling and plumbing. Now, up to a few years ago, budget heating, cooling, and plumbing didn't really care too much about disappointed customers, right? But that's until Tyler came on board as the director of marketing. Now, he had a strong belief in the power of reviews. He decided something needed to be done to help people who had a bad experience. He mentioned in a recent interview with us, managing your online reputation has become an absolute cornerstone to any service industry-based business. Okay, said Tyler. Getting reviews online is really, really tough. If somebody's angry, they're very willing to go online and say whatever they think needs to be said. But it's very hard to get a happy customer to do the same, right? The first problem Tyler faced was getting happy customers to leave reviews, right? The second was responding and working with those customers that were leaving negative reviews. Now, Tyler knew from trial and error that clicks and seconds matter a lot with the customer when they're trying to leave feedback for a store. So he eliminated those barriers by sending all of this through text, right? Which most customers prefer anyway, okay? And he found a solution through that way, okay? Now, budget heating and cooling has over 1,500 reviews. Now for the second problem, turning negative reviews into positive ones, he decided to use Podium to help with that. Now he is able to receive all messages from all these different sources into one dashboard. He can focus on what's doing right for them, and the results have been remarkable, okay? He's been able to quickly respond to customers, which is great, even those with bad experience, to help turn those first people around so that they have positive experience, okay? Now, Shannon Fine Jewelry, all right? Their online reviews are especially important in the online reviews. I've been in the jewelry industry for about 4 years now, not as long as most of you, but most of my jewelry experience has been in marketing and been in essentially in kind of digging deep into the jewelry space in Canada and both the United States. Now, one thing that I do know is online reviews are super important for your industry. Okay. Jewelers work on family heirlooms and sentimental things that are super important to people. Okay. Because these items are priceless, your customers are super sensitive and selective on who they choose to work with. Okay. Now, it's important to understand that they're also high-ticket items. So, reviews and word of mouth are super important for your industry. Now, Kristen, she's the marketing director at Shannon's Fine Jewelry, knew this all too well, right? She knew she's been in the industry for 4 decades, had a strong, loyal customer base. She felt like business had exhausted its efforts in growing that base through traditional marketing and advertising was spent. She didn't know what else to do. So she decided to focus on online reputation. She recently quoted saying, "Word of mouth is still the most important form of advertising. And good or bad, people look at online reviews the same way they would if someone they knew personally gave them a recommendation," right? Which is absolutely true. In a lot of ways, people believe that online reviews are even more powerful than personal recommendations, just because you can look at so many different opinions. Okay. She didn't see much success from leave us a review sticker on their store, so she took a more proactive approach, right? Collecting online reviews by sending the review invitation via text. Right, this small change boosted her rating from 4.6 to 5 stars, which helped them get more customers to the door. She'll tell you today, our sales have increased, our traffic has increased, and our customers aren't shy to tell us because of our reviews. Right, she just most recently quoted to us. Haley? Nope.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was on mute. Let's move on to number 7. Do the Amazon, Nordstrom, and Walmart, or think of any other giant business, simply do what they can't. So we have another poll question here. We want to launch. Just think about what your business can do that Amazon can't. Is it A, answer the flipping phone, shoot you back a quick text to answer your question, hand curate only the best products in a category, let you talk to a human with personality, or E, all of the above? What can your local business with a local presence do that some of these large businesses can't do? Give you a few more seconds to answer that question, and then we'll look at the results. Let's see what everyone says. If you said E, all of the above, you're right. There are no wrong answers here. It was kind of a tongue-in-cheek question, but Amazon can do a lot of amazing things with their revenue, infrastructure, technology, but there are several things that they'll never be able to do that you can. And those are, in fact, the reasons that you'll be able to be remarkable in comparison. Another example we have here is Coast Wholesale Appliances. They have 17 locations, over 200 employees, and they've been in business for 40 years. And especially in this era of social distancing, they have had to shatter expectations of their customers and do what these larger businesses can't by providing an amazing shopping experience that's personalized to each customer, all digitally. So what they've done is they've added a chat on their website that allows customers to text them directly to get questions answered, look at showroom inventory via pictures and videos, and schedule deliveries. So they can go onto the website, see what inventory is there, text in a question, see if it's actually available in the store, and then schedule delivery. The team at Coast Wholesale Appliances has seen an uptick in these inquiries this week as as consumers practice social distancing in the wake of COVID-19, and having the ability to stay connected through text messaging has enabled their business to deliver the top-notch customer service they're known for, but have been able to do it online. And all of these communications have a personal touch because consumers and customers are texting in, and a real employee is responding and taking care of that customer through their entire journey. That's what they've been doing that some of these bigger companies can't do. They've been providing a great experience virtually for each individual person just chatting into their store.
Perfect, which leads us to our last point here. Be wherever, whenever, however, right? We've already talked about how customers are expecting the showroom to come to them. Now let's take that idea one step further. Some customers don't even want to talk to you unless it is wherever, whenever, and however they want it, okay? To help kind of emphasize this point, let's call back some of our friends we've already heard from, okay? First off, 3 quotes from 3 different remarkable local businesses. People don't want to talk on the phone as much anymore, okay? If that's the case, are you, as a business, converting to a place where people can actually chat in with you rather than just talk and pick up the phone, okay? The second one, catch people wherever they are. Patients want to be met where they want to be met, when they want to be met, with whatever services they desire, right? Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And fortunately, it's also really good, right? Your customer has so much information on the tips of their fingertips, right? Remarkable businesses are creating this need for customers. Like, how easy is it to shop on Amazon? How easy is it to book an Uber, right? How easy is it to watch movies on Netflix? Like, people expect everyone to step up, right? That's our reality today, okay? And the last one, you need to meet the customer where they want to be met. Now, sounds like these remarkable businesses are all converging, right, around the same idea. It is no longer on their terms. It's no longer on their terms, it's on ours as the customer, all right? Anything you can do to meet the customer wherever, whenever, however, will be a step towards remarkability, okay? And a few words of summary here. This is not the end, okay, guys, but where we begin, okay? Well, at least you. Hopefully the examples that we've shown will give you some inspiration, spark some ideas of how you can be remarkable, and will kickstart the word of mouth engine, and more importantly, make your business remarkable, okay? So let's get out there. Let's give them something to talk about, okay? Since we began with this quote, we're going to end with it. Let's give them something to talk about. You guys are all remarkable in your own ways. Find ways to point that out and increase your business, and find new ways to do it as well, okay? We appreciate you. We appreciate the time today. Have fun today. Haley?
Yeah, that was all we had for the presentation. So I guess we'll look and see if any questions came in, and hope to answer some of those.
We do have a few questions, yes. Thanks to Jason and Haley for such a great presentation. Our first question comes from Angelica, and she's asking, what can small business owners do about fake Google reviews that have been posted online by competitors? Are there any practical solutions to how to handle those?
Haley, I can jump in and take this one. This is something that's plagued local business for a long time, right? But that doesn't make it right. There's a couple of things you can do, right? You can actually contact Google about it, but what we've seen through Podium is that is a long and lengthy process, and a lot of the times, it just doesn't work. What we've always said here at Podium is if there's a negative review, even a fake competitor type review, you have to drown that review, okay? But I mean, you have to get positive reviews so that it pushes down that negative review down so far that people don't see it. And that's the because you can go through Google, but it's going to be a lengthy process. I just don't know I see people that are, you know, they get it done. Some people don't. But what we do know is, you know, spending too much time on it will affect things. And if you can just get a ton of reviews to drown that negative review out, that's the best thing we've seen.
And another way to maybe handle those, obviously you want to drown them out by real customer reviews, but another thing you can do is you want to respond to that review. You want to respond to all of your reviews, but especially the negative ones, even if they're not from a real customer. With those ones, you can respond and say something like, hey, we don't have you in our record. We'd love to hear more about your experience. Please reach out to us here. So that other people, when they search for you online and they're looking at your reviews, they see that negative review, they may see that maybe this person wasn't actually a customer, but you're still willing to hopefully make things right. If it is a negative review from a real customer, you obviously want to respond and take that offline as well, just so people can see with all of your negative reviews that you care a lot about your customer experience and that they can expect a great experience or you to make it right if something does go wrong.
And our next question also has to do with Google. Is filing and paying Google a worthwhile process?
Yeah, that's another great question that we get a lot. Obviously, Google is one of the biggest search engines, and in fact, most people actually do prefer Google as their default search engine. So you definitely don't want to overlook the benefits of it, but there are actually a lot of things that you can do on Google that are free that you don't necessarily need to pay for. And one of those biggest ones would be setting up a Google My Business account. So that's free and easy. It's something that you can do today, where you go on and verify your account. The most common way is for Google to send a postcard with verification code to your physical address. And then you type that into your Google My Business account, you'll have full admin access. And that's what pops up when somebody searches for either jewelry store near me or they search for your specific jewelry store name. And that's the little box that pulls up on the side of Google if they're on a desktop, or on just under the search box if they're on their mobile phone. And that helps you get found for local search results and helps you get on the Google Map Pack. And that's when people will find you. So it's important to show up where your potential customers are looking for you, and Google is one of those big places. But there are a lot of things you can do on Google that are not, that they don't cost anything.
All right, our next question. What would you say is the first practical step to take when first starting to ignite word of mouth?
Yeah, that's another great question. It can probably seem overwhelming with all of the tips that we went over today, but I would say that the number one thing would probably be to listen to what your customers are already saying about you. That was the first step, and it would probably, I would say, would probably be the most important, because you may already be doing something remarkable and you may not need to necessarily change what you're doing in your business, but you can maybe just lean into that thing that you're doing that's already remarkable. Because if people are coming into your store, most of you answered that the way you get new business is through referrals. So people are talking about your business to their friends and family, and you want to try to figure out through either feedback via technology or asking someone in person. Once the foot traffic does speed up a little bit more, you want to ask them maybe why they chose to come into your store, or ask current customers or past customers why they have referred you, and they'll usually tell you what you're doing that's remarkable for them. Were there any other questions that came in?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute for that. Are there any additional examples you've seen from the jewelry or luxury sector that have been successful at becoming remarkable that you can offer?
Yeah, I think, let me think of one. I got a message last night, right, from one of our partners from the luxury space, mentioning how their customers are absolutely loving the ease of the ease of business that's going on with their stores today, right? So when I say that today, given the situation that everyone is going through, they're stepping up and trying to be remarkable on their side. So what does that mean? Well, she sent me a message directly and said, "Hey, thank you for everything you guys have done. This we've essentially created a contactless business during this crisis, right? Where customers are getting a hold of us today, right? We're making deals today, right? Through texting, through pictures, and we're sending payments without ever having to touch that customer, right? So this in and of itself, like this first thing that came to my mind, because like I said, it just happened yesterday, but that jewelry store is making it remarkable for their customers to do business with them, okay? I absolutely guarantee after this whole crisis thing is over that they're going to have return customers from it, right? And because, like I said in one of my slides, they're making things super fast, super convenient, and super easy to communicate with their business and do business with them in such trying times. Other than that, outside of that, there's different ways to be remarkable. We have remarkable jewelry stores across this, across the world, right? A lot of it, they stick out with online reviews. We have businesses with literally 50,000 reviews, right? Stand out to be remarkable. Some of our businesses offer, this is just a little example, offer cookies as they come in, right? And we know that it's remarkable for their customers because there's one point in time where they got rid of it. And they started to get negative feedback on it, right? Like, oh, I used to love that part of your business, right? This is ways to be remarkable. And it's not something that you have to do that's like great and such a huge undertaking, but it's those little things that can make your business more remarkable from your competitors. I hope that answers that question.
That's great, yeah. And those are all the questions we seem to have for today. For any we didn't capture, we can see if we can get them answered by Jason and Haley via email. So once again, thank you so much to Jason and Haley as well to Podium for a great presentation.